Hello, hello. It's Maxine Drake, and you are watching Spa Business Tip Tuesday. And I have something really awesome to share. Well, first of all, the topic of today is the ugly truth about sales pitches, and I'm going to share a story with you of what and how that topic actually came to be for today. But I definitely have something to share with you. I have some good news and I have some bad news. And so what do you want to hear first? Okay, I'm going to share the bad news because the good news is just too awesome. So the bad news is that I'm going to be stopping Spa Business Tip Tuesday on my actual business page. But here's the good news. I think you're really going to like it. Hello, welcome. So the good news is that I am actually going to be live streaming every Tuesday at 3 p.m. Eastern Time in a very special group called the Esthetician Marketing Club. And we put this together. Hello, Charlotte. I'm so glad you're here. I love sharing good news with some of my favorite people. So collectively, the Esthetician Marketing Club was put together by hey, thank you, Brooke, myself, and another girl, Lisa, and we figured that we wanted to share our genius, and we wanted to share our gifts, and we wanted to help you excel in business. So we all have like different backgrounds in business and marketing, and my philosophy, if you've worked with me or taken any of my classes, is that we're better together and we can actually create more. So our goal in the Esthetician Marketing Club is to bring you massive amounts of value and business tips and just, a great place to share marketing. Okay, so that's the great news. So I'm going to definitely post a link for that page when I'm done live streaming, because apparently I can't do both. It's just the way it is. So our topic for today, can we just talk? This topic about the ugly truth about sales pitches really came about on a coaching call. And, and actually this topic comes up quite a bit. How do you feel about sales pitches? Honestly, you yourself. How do you feel about it? I'd love to hear, your take on it. If you want to comment about it, that would be great. Because here's my take. And if you work with me, you'll know that I don't necessarily teach you a script. It doesn't mean that I'm against scripts, because it means that if I gave you my script, then it would be a Maxine script, right? It wouldn't be your script. Hey, Shelly. Yeah, they're a turnoff. Shelly says that, sales pitches are a turnoff. And right, even when you're shopping. And so here's the thing. And this is exactly why I don't teach scripts, because you're already using a script. I guarantee you. If I went over to your place of business and I was like, tell me about this service or tell me about this product, you already have this flow that you use. So it's a matter of perfecting that flow, right? But that's not what I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about, literally, this esthetician was desperate on this coaching call, and maybe you can relate, because she was just like, I don't know, I was doing so great in sales and I just need a new pitch. And my thought was, why do you need a new pitch? And she goes, well, because I just did better. But she goes, I've changed my philosophy and my branding in my business, and I don't use pitches anymore because it doesn't feel right. Ah, interesting, right? Charlotte says that they're intimidating for sure. Absolutely, because we know when someone's trying to sell us. And nobody, I don't care even what generation you're from, nobody likes to be sold. And the truth is that this girl was having an epiphany about her own way of how she's doing business, because she was doing a little check-in with herself, right? And, those pitches didn't feel right for her. And that's why, she lost sales. So she felt, the word that's being tossed around now is authenticity, right? And I feel like it's overused, but you kind of get my point when I use the word. But what does it really mean? And what does it really mean when we're talking about selling anything with our client, right? Whether it's a product or whether it's a service. So I don't even want you to think about a pitch because they feel icky. I mean, I'm hearing, even in the comments, it's like they don't feel good. There's nothing that feels good about pitches. So, I think Simon Sinek said it really well. He said, when we have to convince someone, convincing leads to transactions. Sure, we can possibly get a sale if we convince someone to buy a specific product or invest in a certain service, but we're literally doing a disservice if it doesn't serve them. Agreed? Okay, so what do we do? What's the answer? And the answer is, it's simple, but it's hard because we know it, but we're not doing it. We're not doing it to the extent that we should. And the simple answer is we have to ask more questions. I know it sounds crazy, stupid, simple, but sometimes the best ideas are the most simple. I don't know if you'd agree with me there. So, what kind of questions are you asking your clients? That's my first question to you. So I would like to know, what kinds of questions are you asking your clients right now? And if you're still falling short of the sale, then we're not asking enough questions. And we're not digging deeper to that pain point of what's really going on. Does that make sense? So, not asking enough questions, and so there's 3 parts to this. So we're not asking, questions. We're not asking enough questions, and we're not asking the right questions. So what are those? What are some of the right questions to ask? That is where your script is going to come in. Because I think that if we're listening to what's really going on with our clients when we're asking questions and we're really present, that the next question is going to come from whatever their previous answer is. Does that make sense? So I would love to know what questions you're asking right now, and what could you do better? How could you take it deeper? If you've taken my workshop, we dig deep on this, and sometimes there's a lot of silence in the room because everyone's thinking, and it sounds easy. So we might have to go revisit our intake form. We might have to go revisit the questions that we're asking every single visit with our client. Not just the first time, but every single time. I don't know. How does that feel? I'd love to know. Inquiring minds like myself. But yeah, so I like to just get to the point on these live streams because not everyone has a whole lot of time. We're just hopping on for, 15 minutes or so to just give you a business tip and something to think about and to have you go back into your own treatment room and say, yeah, nobody likes sales pitches these days. We live in the age of authenticity, and people want real, and people know when you're full of shit. They do. And when we're trying to convince them. So that's that was my message for today. And I have to thank, absolutely love my coaching calls with my people, because when I start to hear a couple of things over and over again, I'm like, I really need to do a live stream on this. So thank you for the likes. So how do you feel about coming on over to the Esthetician Marketing Club? It's going to be a fabulous group. We're pretty small right now, but we're not looking to grow super huge. We just kind of like want the right minded estheticians in the group that want to do good, that want to learn, that want to share, that practice positivity, that are open to ideas. And I have to say, I'm just enamored by Brooke, who is really a master at websites. I am gaining notoriety for being a marketing guru. I don't know, I just love marketing. Marketing is fascinating to me. Hey, Leanne, I love how you always come on. And then Lisa, who also brings just, an element to the group. She is an unbelievable website and marketing and business person as well. And her jam is actually WordPress. And Brooke's jam is the Squarespace. So we have two, and they're two completely different platforms. I work with both. So either one is fine, you know what I mean? But, so anyway, short and sweet, but does anybody have any questions, just about the sales process in itself? I think that I would love to hear, because, let's have a conversation about it, because I think that, well, it comes up every single time. Every workshop, coaching calls, everybody wants, more sales. And, it's like, I feel like sometimes people want this magic answer. And there's really no magic answer. But the more you know yourself, the more you know others. I can tell you that right now. And also, when you're practicing answering these questions, I really, really want you to practice listening. It's really hard to do in today's age. Shelley says, how do you motivate your staff? How do you motivate your staff or your team? It's trainings. The fall down to answer that question is usually lack of trainings. And, people need reminders more than they need instruction. That's what I coach all day long too. And we are leaders to our team, right? I'm sure you would agree with me on that. And sometimes we get, I don't know, like we're tired of repeating ourselves with our teams or with the people that we work with. And we think, okay, like I told you once, like, why aren't you getting it? And the truth is that you're never going to stop coaching them. So whenever I'm working with, a spa that has a larger team, it's always going to revolve around the trainings. And so I say to clean up and perfect your policies and your procedures and whatever those are. And, because the policies and procedures are for the team, they're not for the clients. And, how do you want them to, what is their flow? And how do you want them to, treat a client from the second that they walk in the door through the whole process of getting a treatment? And then, at the end, what does that look like for you? That's your branding, right? So, sometimes you might need to hold a training, Shelley, once a month. I know you're probably going, oh my God. But I mean, until they kind of like get it and they're actually, practicing, and it's becoming they're ritualizing what you're teaching them. I don't know if that helps you, but people are they need inspiration. Shelley says, no, I love it. Yeah, it's really true. Okay, this is what I did with my team. Sometimes we have to have like a daily dose of meditation. That's a little slip, but we have to do like a little team huddle. Like, this is the goal for the day. We have this many slots to fill. We need to move this product on the shelf for today. And this is our mission. Okay, go. It's like our team is inspired and motivated when we're motivated and inspired. And so we have to walk the talk, which is like one of the other things that I totally practice at and preach at my workshops, is that if we're going to elevate the aesthetics industry and we're going to rise above, we got to be walking the talk. We have to be the leader. We have to be, living our life world class. If we're going to be world-class estheticians and world-class spas and elite and all of these words, what does that mean? It means that we have to be living it. So it kind of starts here. But I'm so excited. Thank you for asking that. But is there any other questions? Because I think I love it. I like just kind of speaking off the cuff with whatever questions that you have that revolves around sales. Being that this topic for today is the ugly truth about sales pitches and why they don't work, because they feel icky. I mean, that's really it, right? And so, and then we have to ask ourselves, and the big question that I ask, at my workshops, well, what is the difference between sales and marketing? What is the difference between sales and marketing? And in sales, so what we're doing, even how we're showing up on social media, or even how, we're trying to sell through marketing, and that doesn't work, right? We have to be, sales, or, the definition of sales is like the transference of money for a product or a service. And then what is marketing? Well, marketing is everything else. So everything you do, everything you are, everything you stand for, how you show up on social media, how you show up in emails, how you show up in person, how you show up to everyone, that's your marketing. So you just want to be consistent with that. And I promise you stay consistent with that and your sales will soar. People will see the true you. They won't question it. They will say, I want to be connected to her. I want to buy from her. I want to see what she's all about. She knows her stuff. And they will trust you. Hey, Sally. You are joining while you're eating lunch on a quick break. I'm so happy that you're eating lunch. So thanks for popping in. So I would love to answer any more questions that you have about sales. And Charlotte asks, well, how do you get upsells? I struggle with those. Upsells is like, it's the same kind of thing, right? We have a person, on our treatment table, and, there's an opportunity. There's always opportunities for upsells. So, it just happens. You want to be real with what's going on with that person that day. You know what I mean? Like, this is what I used to do in my treatment room. They'd be scheduled for a facial. I'd look down. I totally noticed that they needed a lip wax, and I'd be like, and just letting them know what I'm seeing, and that we could totally add that on for today, or a brow, or whatever. And sometimes it's just a matter of maybe you have a slot open after that appointment. And maybe it's an opportunity to cross-market. So you can, potentially say, oh gosh, I know you've been wanting to try waxing. Well, underarm waxing, summer's coming up, and I actually have an opening after your facial if you want to try the underarm waxing, if you have the time. I do, And I feel like when we say the words like, if you have the time, we give them an out. But, let me even take a step. Let me just even back up with that, with upselling. If you really want to be proactive about your book, a great way to do this is to look at your book for the next day and see what you have. Okay? What kind of gaps do you have in those days? because your goal is to fill those gaps. And this is how I used to train my team, to look for the gaps and be like, be on a mission to fill those gaps with other service providers. Well, in this case, it's going to be you. But it could be an opportunity for cross-marketing, right? So you call them the day before, or you text them, or you email them, whatever their preferred method of communication is, and you say, hey, I have this opening for blah, blah, blah. I know you've been wanting to try it, or, whatever. There's an opportunity there, and that's your opportunity to try to fill it. So we have to make suggestions. Sometimes, we forget that we're in the service industry, and, a lot of times I'll use the analogy that, hey, when you're out eating at a nice restaurant, we're not offended when the waiter comes by and he says, oh, would you like another glass of wine? Or would you like dessert? We don't feel like he's selling us, because it's like part of the experience, right? So what if, we as service providers are now trying to be of service, to say, hey, you've been talking about doing this. I have an opening tomorrow that just so happens to butt up against your appointment. I'd love to do this for you. Boom. And let them make the decision. So try that. I really would challenge you to try that, to be proactive with your book and look a day ahead and try to fill it from there. And then if you get a cancellation, then it's, same kind of a thing as well. Charlotte, does that answer your question? Because I love this kind of stuff. So again, it would be things that either that they've talked about before, or you've mentioned before, or, because ultimately, in sales, what are we doing? We're fulfilling a need first, right? We're filling a need first. So that's why we got to ask the questions. There's just no way around that. We got to ask the questions. We have to listen to what their pain points are, and we have to figure out the next set of questions based off of what they said. And that's really it. There's no gimmick, there's no pitch. It's just you having a real conversation in the moment with your client. So I hope this helps. I want to see what kind of time we're doing here. Wow. So we went a little bit over today. I'm going to post the link for the Esthetician Marketing Club. I hope you'll hop over and join us, because we have some good stuff. We're posting every day in there, and I'll be going live in that group every Tuesday. And we might mix things up. Who knows? Maybe I'll get those guys to go live too. I think I can convince them. Okay, so have a beautiful rest of your week. And thank you so much for coming on. And if there's anything that you need, or if you have any additional questions, post the comment and I'll be sure to get to all of your questions. Thank you so much. Mwah.